All right, good evening. It's 6 o'clock, July 19th, 2021. Welcome to the Newfane Selectboard meeting. And the first thing is additions and amendments to the agenda. Anyone?
No.
Down here.
Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the July 6th, 2021 regular meeting minutes. May I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve them.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Ayes have it. Jay, road foreman and road commissioners report. Thank you for being here and all of your hard work and your crew.
Sure. So we received $175,000 reimbursement from V-Trans for the Monroe Bridge work, which was really quick since we just put in the bill maybe a week ago. So they were really quick getting us some money. The Depot Road culvert, still waiting the easement. Bob Fisher, I believe, has gone on vacation, but I made a couple attempts to get somebody in the office to keep working on it. We'll get back. The sand salt shed, we had a meeting last week and everything is up in order. They have suggested that we request additional funds from a grant to make up for the increases in costs and wait and put it out to bid this winter when we can get the best price. So when those bids come up, when those grants are available again, I'll work on one of those. The guy from V-Trans Municipal Assistance will help us to try to get the right one to get some extra money. He said they're usually pretty good about projects that are already ready to go. We just didn't have enough money in the original grant, so they're usually pretty good about adding money to it. So we'll see.
It's great.
So Jay, would that mean that you would get additional money specifically for that grant, or you would have to look at another type of grant to kind of find something?
No, it's probably going to be the same grant that we got before, just additional money.
Oh, they just come up with additional monies. Okay.
Yeah. So the weather over the last couple of weeks has been challenging. We have recorded over 14 inches of rain. Wow. The damage has been fairly minor so far. The damage could have been much worse with that kind of rain. Fortunate the town south of us didn't make out so well Saturday, but we've done fairly well. It's just been, minor ditch sides and so forth that we've been having to patch and keep opening things up. So we were very fortunate. We received a permit from V-Trans today for the radar signs in Newfane Village. I still have to provide them with a certificate of insurance, which has actually happened since I wrote this. I got that done this afternoon where I left. And we have to do a dig safe ticket and notify their underground utility person and then notify District 2.
Are you putting them in those two spots? The one just south of the fire department and
Yep.
the one just south?
The one at the other end of town.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
We only have one sign coming at this point, but we've got the permit for both of them. So it'll be easy once we get a second sign.
When you do the one at the top of the hill by the fire department, will you be clearing out all of that?
Yep.
So that will be seen? Because I looked at that the other day when we drove by and it's hard to see anything on that side of the road.
Yep. We'll have to keep that trim back so that you can spot the sign easily and so forth.
So that's going to be right on Route 30?
Yep.
Okay.
The Arch Bridge is out to bid. So far, 7 construction companies are looking at the work. The bids are due July 30th, and then V-Trans will award the work by the end of August. So it's looking better all the time. So it happened.
7 companies, that's great.
That's wonderful.
Yep. And that's all I have.
Great. Is there a motion to accept the road foreman and road commissioners report?
I make a motion to accept.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Thank you so much, Jay, and your crew for all the hard work. It's awesome what you guys do.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have the administrative assistance report.
This past week has been busy with routine office responsibilities. The select board forgot to ask me, but I assumed the board would have wanted to send a thank you letter to Myra Fassler for her work as a volunteer.
What was she volunteering on?
Yeah.
Williamsville Hall.
Williamsville Hall.
Steve Levine told us on the
Oh, that
6th that she was
yeah.
retired.
Yes, good point. Thank you.
So I did send her a thank you card on behalf of the select board.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Carol and I assisted Melissa with stuffing envelopes and mailing out the 2021-22 tax bills. Took way longer than I anticipated.
Thank you so much for helping them on that.
Sheriff Anderson is still awaiting the animal control MOD final documents from the department's attorney. He said they had expedited the process, and Sheriff Anderson will let us know when he receives them. This delay was waiting for Windham to approve their budget due to the COVID. So their town meeting was put off, and by doing that, he wanted to make sure that they were on board with all of the fees and then I've been doing research documents from Hurricane Irene, trying to locate some forms that are needed for a resident that has issues with work that was done on her property during Irene. So I'm trying to.
It was
Go
done
through-
by the town?
It was done during Irene, so it was contracted out.
Uh-huh.
And because of all the rain, she has become concerned that the project is failing her.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to find certain documents. Jay and I were looking today through electronic means, and now I'm gonna have to go upstairs and look in the paper folders.
So was it contracted by, through the town to an outdoor second contractor or whatever?
It was contracted through FEMA and Emergency Water Protection Services, or the NRCS from Williston. So yes,
But-
all of those jobs were bidded on through those agencies.
Did the town have some sort of management over her repair?
I don't believe so. Not at the time the work was done. I think it was through the agencies that were handling FEMA.
Which is why you're trying to find this documentation, because you weren't here at the time
Correct.
that was going on.
Correct. And that was 2011.
10 years ago.
But I mean, my question is whether or not we should be expending time looking for the documents, because if it was handled by another agency, the homeowner should be responsible to contact that agency.
I'm not sure about how that was all handled. Jay, do you have a sense, since you were dealing with that kind of at the time?
I think those grants were handled by the different agencies, but ultimately I think the town was involved in it as the sponsor for some of those grants. So I think that's why they are hoping we have the paperwork, because I'm not sure they do.
Does the homeowner have any paperwork?
I spoke with her today, and she's going to look. Any information that she has, I will keep a record of, so that when I do talk with the engineer in Williston regarding this issue.
I mean, there's got to be an easier way just to call a State Department agency and ask about the name of the property owner to find out the
I spoke
versus.
with Mr. LaPointe today, and he has no records of it.
That's
And
the resident.
He was
No,
the,
that's the
he was the engineer involved in it.
I will remind the board that if raw material is necessary, the quarry on Adams Hill Road, owned by Sir Sosimo, was dedicated as Hurricane Irene material building only, but that is there with stone available if something like that is needed. That's still in our books.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just wondering if you're spending a lot of time on it, that who's responsible for it?
Ultimately, the town could be held responsible for it if the document wasn't signed. Because there's operation maintenance, which after 5 years, the town would have, if the town had had the document signed, the landowner would assume maintenance responsibilities after 5 years.
After 5 years.
If that wasn't signed, the town might be liable.
But
And the homeowner doesn't know?
She doesn't have document, correct?
She doesn't have documents.
So I think it's probably an important document to try and
Yeah,
find.
but isn't there a state agency that you could just contact and find out regarding Irene?
Well, that's what she said. She called the engineer that was working on the project who doesn't have any paperwork.
Okay, but who's above him though? I mean, there's got to be another person that he could direct you to.
He's already been in touch with the other people that looked at the site and
Yeah.
came out 2 years ago and
Uh-huh.
looked at it before COVID.
Yeah.
So they're all aware of the issue and
Yeah.
the concerns there.
Yeah.
But with the recent rain, it's brought it to the forefront again of the flooding and the potential.
No, I get that part, but as far as they must have the document from the town.
I think it would be wise if the town would find their document on this one particular property so that we can say.
I know,
yeah.
but it has to be
Affirmatively,
registered
yeah.
at the state. That's what I'm trying to say. The state must have to have a copy of that.
Right.
But can they
So
find
should
it?
we though,
And
correct?
so should the town. So we should go through our town records as well to make sure that we have all the documentation we need so that if anything comes of it.
How much time have you put into looking for it?
Just a few hours right now.
Yeah.
But I haven't gone upstairs to look in the folders upstairs. I've done
I'm off this
electronic
week. I can come over and help you for a couple hours this week and help you look through stuff. If the board's okay with that, I don't mind.
I'm just trying to figure out if there's another way of doing it that's quicker.
Well, and
I
while we
guess, is it a river that's threatening her land? I guess we need a little bit more specifics to understand what she's asking for.
It sounds like the bottom line, if I'm hearing this right, is that we need to know who is responsible, and the signing of this particular document is the key to figuring out if the town is responsible or the homeowner is responsible.
Right, I get
then-
that
yeah.
part of it. I'm just saying that it's got to have been registered with a state agency, and the state should be able to pull that document up.
You have so much more faith.
Well,
Well, if it's okay with the board, I volunteer some time this week to help Juanetta find all this stuff out and go through the documents upstairs so that she can answer phones and do what she needs to do. I don't mind. That's fine with me if it's okay with the rest of the board.
sure, I just don't think we should be spending a whole lot of time. And, we could send an email or two out to a couple of state agencies and ask them to,
Do
provide
that
a
and see which one
document.
comes up with it first.
Right. Exactly.
Contest.
Do we know which state agencies we would need to contact?
We'll figure that one out while we're going along.
Oh, boy.
Additionally, I do have 2 contracts. One is Sullivan and Powers with a scope of services for $16,800. They are the auditors that have been working with Melissa for the past few years, and I had contacted them about continuing their services at the same rate as last year. And they came back and guaranteed us that. And then we also have the
That needs our signature.
yes, this needs a signature from the board.
Because last time they had upped the rate when we asked to hold it, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then I also have Windham County Humane Society, which is a contracted services for boarding the seized or stray animals. And it's a renewal of a contract that we've had with them for several years. And that just needs an authorization from one member to sign.
And then, is that at the same rate or is it increased?
It's the
Do you
same
need to
rate,
sign
it's
it?
the same fee.
Yes, because we already voted on that one. Is there a motion to have the select board chair sign the Windham County Humane Society contract for this year.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The reason we're just signing that one is because we already voted that one. Thank you, Juanetta.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything further for your report?
No. I'm good.
Is there a motion to accept the administrative assistance report?
I make a motion to accept it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Juanetta, for all of your hard work.
Thank you.
Next, we're to scheduled members of the public. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Is Pete coming too, or is it just
Just
you?
me. We don't have to get too many people involved.
Excellent.
I don't-
And so you're down there. Is there unscheduled members of the public? Not seeing any. We'll move right along to old business. And Anne, good evening. American Rescue Plan Act,
Yes.
otherwise known as ARPA.
Yes. So, we are signed and ready to receive the $154,000 from the feds. It's going to be distributed in 2 payments, 50% at each time with 12 months apart. Presumably, the first payment should be coming in if not this month, very soon thereafter. We have not yet heard about the second allotment of money that is going to go to that the federal government has allocated to the counties, and that is still waiting to be figured out how that will be divvied up. So we had talked about the idea of hiring a development consultant, or there are many names that one could give to it: economic development, business consultant, etc. So since the Planning Commission is scheduling some meetings for August and September to meet with people in town, anyone who wants to come, they have 3 meetings that they're planning. And they will come up with a list as a result of those meetings of what people in town would like to see the money spent on. We talked about the idea of having a consultant working on the reporting and the planning, etc. Kate, I see that you just joined. I was just talking about the plans of the Planning Commission. Did you want to talk about this instead of me?
Hi, Kate.
You're on mute, just so you know. Well, I'll keep talking, Kate. Oh, no, there you are. There you are. Great. I just was saying that you were planning to have 3 meetings. Is there anything more you wanted to talk about in terms of the work that the Planning Commission is doing?
Thanks for that. It seems I'm perfectly timed. We are working on planning 3 community meetings. One will be by Zoom, and the others will be in person. And I think, as you might have already explained, the communications are forthcoming. Letters will go out to everybody, and we're hoping it will be a really great way to get everybody's ideas and just bring everyone together in the process.
Cool. So we had talked about the idea that once those plans come in and we have the money and there's going to be reporting that has to be done, we talked about the idea of hiring a consultant that would work with the town to manage the projects and do the necessary reporting for ARPA and look for other grants, as I'm sure we will need other grants. So I tried to do a little bit of work in the last 2 weeks to try to understand how we might approach that. And I looked at some other towns here in Vermont that had an economic development director and got copies of their job descriptions. I got 2 of them one from Dover and one from Northfield. And I've included them in the packet that the select board has. And then based on what I saw in those two job descriptions, as well as just, thinking about what I know of Newfane, I put together a draft of what we might want to do with a job description. It is absolutely only a draft, and I would just suggest that people take a look at it, and then maybe at the next meeting or the meeting after that, if we could schedule a time to begin to discuss it and see what changes or recommendations people might have for that role. I am guessing that since every town pretty much in Vermont is going to be undoubtedly looking for such a role, it seemed to me that there was some good reason to try to be expedient about this and try to get it out there sooner rather than later. So that's why I decided to go ahead and do this research and write this up. Let me say again, it is only a draft. It definitely requires the input of other people. But I would say that if we can figure it out within the next month, perhaps, then we could post it and perhaps even have someone on board by September or October, so we could really hit the ground running, which would be great if we could.
This is great. And you've been working with Melissa and talking with her too?
I have been.
Thanks for the information. It's wonderful.
I also noticed in our packet is this fact sheet, but I didn't know who published it or where that came from.
Melissa.
Melissa, okay.
I think she had a conversation with Shelley today, and it was provided by Melissa for tonight's discussion.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have a question as far as the uses of the money, and as the board that we make a decision as to how the money is going to be used in what section, what are the different areas. I have no idea because I don't get any of the emails, and I really would like to be in the loop.
The emails I get are only from the meetings. It's no specific emails that I'm getting. Really, it's been mainly
Is it from the training that you went
from the
to?
meetings that I've gone to. If I get
What
any
meetings?
there was a meeting by Windham Regional and by VLCT, and they're open to anybody. If there's another one, I will definitely let you know. Just
Well,
so that-
because the email, there's only 2 emails that are on the paperwork that we needed to sign for the government to receive the money. One is the treasurer, and I believe the second one should be the administrative assistant. It's just the same thing as Irene, that the administrative assistant is our staff member, and she would be held, or he would be held accountable to the select board to receive that information. I'm not getting any information.
Okay, just for clarification, in terms of having signed that document, the only thing that we received from them as a result of that were the documents that are included.
I don't care what we've received, but I haven't
Can we not
received
interrupt
it.
when one person is speaking? Let's not interrupt and wait.
So the only documents are the ones that I included here, which are just basically giving the documents that need to be signed. No information has been sent from signing up with the state to receive the monies. I have received no emails aside from copies of the documentation that will need to be signed. Should something else come through, I am happy to send it to everybody so everyone sees it. If you want to make another proposal that the name be changed to Juanetta, we can make that proposal.
So the documents that are so-called already been received by you, we haven't received them.
They're right in here. They're right in here. And all they are is a document saying what the forms that have to be signed by as a result of receiving the ARPA funds. And there's the second one as well.
Okay.
That's it. So all the information that I have has been as a result of attending these various meetings, specifically with VLCT, which everyone is welcome to go to, and WRC has had some as well.
Well, on top of the fact that you've been appointed as the contact person, I think you need to keep the rest of the select board up to date as to what you're doing,
As she had sent us this wonderful memo.
which I didn't receive until today. It was dated to the select board on the 14th.
Yes, and when we were going through, I had asked that it be put as part of our select board packets.
Well, I think it should come sooner than on the select board packet when we receive it on Friday.
Noted, that will happen.
Because I didn't get it on Friday. I like to be able to review it before I get to the meeting.
Okay.
But
I
then just one
apologize.
more point of clarification, we're not trying to pass anything about it today. So the information is there, and let's schedule, I would recommend scheduling a discussion of it, either at the next meeting, or if people haven't had enough time to review it at the meeting after that.
Are people comfortable with having this as a full discussion on August 2nd? That's our next meeting date. Are you available, Katie?
I am.
Okay, great. I'm available.
August 2nd, okay?
And we'll put this on as old business for a discussion.
Great.
Is there any other conversation on the ARPA funds that we'd like to have? If not, I would like to move on to the office renovation plan. Since Mike is not here to discuss and he is on the part of that committee, if it's all right with the board, I'd like to continue that until he is available to speak, whether it be August 2nd or August 16th. Is that all right with the board?
It's fine with me.
Yep.
And
That's
we've,
fine.
thank you. And we've already done the scope of services. And we have no new business, apparently. And we have one correspondence letter. July 13th, 2021, Select Board, Town of Newfane. To whom it may concern, owing to the quarantine conditions in place for the past 18 months, I have not been able to participate in the activities of the Development Review Board. At the request of David Cotton, I'm requesting that the Select Board grant permission for me to rejoin the DRB. Thank you for your consideration in this matter. David Lucido, 25 West Street, Newfane. Is there a motion to reappoint Mr. Lucido to the DRB? Anyone want to make a motion?
I make such a motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Excellent. Yay. Will you please send Mr. Lucido his appointment letter?
Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have committee report by Mr. Cotton, and we're going to move to go into an executive session under 1 VSA 313A1E, pending or probable litigation. Do we need to make a motion? Is there a motion? I'll make the
I make
motion.
such a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 And now we're going into pay orders, and I'd like to thank everyone for coming this evening. Have a great night and stay safe.